connection between A. What is A? A is edge length. Connection between A, the edge length, and R. R is what? R is radius of an atom. Radius of an atom. Okay. First we will talk about simple cube. There is not much to talk about in a simple cubic. Simple cubic. So what happens in a simple cubic is let me run that. So what happens in a simple cubic is like this, not big mathematical calculation. Okay, so you can see here what happens. A is the edge length, here also A is the edge length. It's a cube, so length, breadth, height are same. So what is happening, suppose, so here what happens is, this is radius, this is radius. So simply A will be equal to 2R. A will be equal to 2 times the, so edge length is 2 times the radius of the atom. Okay. Now what are we using this to calculate? We are using this to calculate void space. How are we calculating the void space? Point number 1. We look at number of atoms in a unit cell. Number of atoms in a unit cell. So we know number of atoms in a unit cell is equal to how much? Only 1. And how much is the volume? It is 4 by 3 pi r cube. It's a sphere, na? So in a simple cubic, 8 into 1 by 8, that's what I taught you last time, that each atom in the corner is shared by 8 unit cells. So 8 into 1 by 8 will be 1, so 1 atom. Okay. What is the second is, what is the volume of the cube? Volume of cube will be equal to what? Will be A cube. But A is equal to 2R. So it's 2R the whole cube. That means it is 8R cube. So what is the percentage occupied? Percentage occupied by the atom will be equal to what? Its value 4 by 3 pi r cube divided by what? Divided by 8r cube. When you want to find percentage, multiply by 100. So here r cube cancel ho gaya. 4 ones are 4 twos are 8. So that means what you have, pi by 6 into 100. That's 3.14 upon 6 into 100. So let us now calculate how much is it. So 314 divided by 6. So that is nearly 52%. So in a simple cubic, the volume occupied by the atom in the cube is 52%. Is this clear? So void space, so they either ask percentage occupied or they ask void space. Both are potential MCQs to be asked. So when I say void space, it is 100 minus 52, that is 48%. So 48% will be void space. So this was the calculation for what do you call simple cubic. Then what are we coming to? The next one that we are coming to is face centered cubic lattice. No, body centered. Let's talk about body centered, little complicated then. So we are calculating the connection of edge length and A for a body centered cubic lattice. body centered cubic lattice. So in a body centered cubic lattice, what happens? So you have atoms in the center of the body. So these three atoms are in 1, 2, 3. The center of the body is in one line. So this is in one line. Understand that. Then you have, how do we get the value of that in terms of R? So here you have, first take this. So what happens is, you will get the value of this. This is A. So here how will you get the value of this? This is A and this is A. So we have a triangle A, B, C, D. So I am first calculating from triangle A, B, C the value of AC. The value of AC. That is how much? So AC square, Pythagoras theorem, AC square is equal to A square plus A square. So AC will be root 2A. AC will be root 2A. So this value, now understand. So now we have a triangle. So this is A, this is root 2A, and then we will get value of AD. Value of AD. Okay. So now, in the case of triangle, so this is triangle ABC. Now in case of, I'll put in a black pen only because it's more clear always. So in case of triangle, how about ACD? What do we have? AD square is equal to AC square plus CD square. Now your AC is, so this is how much? 2A square, correct? Root 2 ka square is, plus CD is how much? Plus A square. So we get therefore 3A square. So that will be equal to 3A square. But AD itself is what? This is R, this is diameter 2R, and this is R. So R, so 4R square. So this is 4R the whole square. So your distance AD will be equal to what? 4R square. So that means 4 4s are 16. 16R square will be equal to 3A square. So your A will be equal to, now I take A square. So your A square will be 16 by 3 R square. So this is A will be therefore equal to 4 root 3 R. Or the other way I can put is R the radius will be root 3A by 4. Will be root 3A by 4. So this is a direct question they ask. In case of body centered cubic lattice, the connection between radius of the atom and edge length is R the radius of atom is root 3A by 4. Okay. Now we come to our calculation. Calculation for void space. Or calculation for packing fraction is called as calculation for packing fraction, means how much is packed. So how much will be void? 100 minus that. We have calculation for a packing fraction. So how many atoms does it have? Volume occupied by the atom will be equal to, so first is, let us say, volume of the cube. So volume of the cube is A cube, but A is how much? So 4 upon root 3 R the whole cube. चलिए ये हो गया. Then second is volume occupied by atom, volume occupied by atoms. How many atoms make up a unit cell? So one atom is 4 by 3 pi r cube. It's a sphere, na? Volume of a sphere is 4 by 3 pi r cube. But how many atoms are there? There are 2 atoms, 8 into 1 by 8 and 1 in the center. So it's 2 into 4 by 3 pi r cube. Correct? So let us extend it over here. Now what do we get? Packing fraction will be volume occupied by 8 by 3 into pi r cube divided by 8 by 3 pi r cube divided by total volume. That is 4 4s are 16. This is 64 upon 3 root 3 into r cube. So volume occupied by the atom divided by volume occupied by the cube into 100. So ये उल्टा हो जाएगा. So what are we getting? 8 by 3 pi r cube into 3 root 3 upon 64 into r cube. The whole thing into 100. R cube cancel. 8 8s are 64. 3 ये 3 चला जाएगा. बराबर? So you have therefore this becomes pi is 3.14 into root 3 upon 8 into 100. So the packing will increase now. Why? Because more number of atoms are present. Na? So that will be root 3 will be how much? 1.732 into 3.14 into 100 divided by how much? 8 into, no, into 1 minute, huh? Something is wrong. Root 3 is how much? 3. So 1.732 into 3.14 divided by 8 into 100. So this is 67.9. So this packing fraction is 67.9%. So void space, it automatically becomes less now, because there we had 1 atom, now we have 2 atoms, so vacant space will become less. So either they will ask packing fraction for a body centered cubic lattice, or they will ask void space. Void space will be 100 minus 67.9. So 100 minus 67.9, I can calculate, but I don't have time to think also. It is 32%. So you can see void space has become less. So that is 32%. So this was the calculation for edge length and calculation for packing fraction and calculation for void space. Is this point? Face centered cubic lattice. Face centered cubic lattice. Is this clear? Now in face centered cubic lattice, again what happens? In face centered cubic lattice we have, ये देखो, 1, 2 and this fellow 3. So this is A, this is A. So let us say this is triangle ABC. So in triangle ABC, what do we get? AC square will be equal to AB square plus BC square, Pythagoras theorem. Now what happens is, so AC square is equal to 2A square. So AC square will be equal to AC will be equal to root 2A. But AC is 4R, na? This is 1R, this is a diameter, so 2R. and this is another radius to R. So 4r is equal to root 2a. Barabar? So this becomes, so this will become what? R will become 1 upon 2 root 2a. बराबर है कि नहीं? रूट 2 इधर कैंसिल किया तो इधर 2 रूट 2 आया. बराबर? So R is equal to 1 upon 2 root 2a. So we have connection between R the radius and A the edge length. Okay. Now what do we have? Packing fraction. So in order to calculate the we can, I'm sorry I had to take this call because this fellow has been harassed by the society. So now listen. Hi, can you hear me? कोई एक जन हाँ बोलो. ध्रुव, ये सानिका का बराबर सुन. सानिका, can you hear me? Yes sir, आ गया. चलो. चलो. Now listen. तो normally I don't take calls in between the lecture, but sometimes it becomes urgent. So R the radius is this. Is this point clear? Now we know what is packing fraction. First in packing, what are we taking? Volume of the cube. Volume of the cube will be equal to A cube. Hey na? Length, breadth, height. So what is the volume of a cube? A cube. Then, so A cube means it will be what? Let us substitute. So A cube will be, so R in this case, so your A will become equal to 2 root 2R. So we have 2 root 2R the whole cube. 2 cube is 8. बराबर? 8 to 0 is 16. तो 16 root 2R cube हो जाएगा. So this is volume of the cube in terms of A. How many atoms in a unit cell? So volume occupied by atom is how much? Volume occupied by atom is equal to how much? Number of atoms in unit cell is how much? 4. How, and what is the volume occupied by one atom? It's 4 by 3 pi r cube. Pi r cube. When a sphere hai, one sphere will have a volume of 4 by 3 pi r cube. Okay. So volume occupied by the atoms divided by total volume of the cube into 100 is packing fraction. मैं PF लिखता हूँ छोटे में. तो we have 16 by 3 pi r cube divided by what? Divided by 16 root 2 r cube बराबर into 100. तो ये क्या हो जाएगा? This will be 16 by 3 pi r cube into 1 upon 16 root 2 r cube into 100. तो ये 16 उड़ गया, ये r cube उड़ गया. So what are you left? You are left with pi by 3 root 2, pi by 3 root 2 into 100. Pi we know is, so pi is 3.14 divided by 3 divided by 1.414. Oh sorry, I made a mistake. Pi is 3.14 divided by 3, अपना काम easy होगा, divided by 1.414 into 100. So that is 74%. Can you see 4 atoms जब भी आता है, so your packing fraction PF, the packing fraction is 74.02. Take it 74%. So your void space becomes equal to how much? 26%. So as the number of atoms increase, what is happening? The packing fraction is increasing, void space is decreasing. So for in your level for 12th, you are supposed to study for only the cube part of it. So you should know for a simple cube, what is the mota mota hisab you should know. What is packing fraction for simple cubic? For body centered, face centered. So 100 minus that. If you remember one, you know what is a void space. So this is the kind of MCQ they will hear. But from the board point of view, they may ask this calculation. Is this point clear? So now we come to a very important general. If you look at the textbook, for each they have derived. CBSE book has derived only one. That is density of a unit cell. So we now come to the next part, that is density of so next thing what we are coming to is density of unit cell. So क्या है? If I just take, I am talking about a cube now, okay? Everything we are talking in terms of a cube. So what do we have? Density is equal to density of unit cell will be equal to mass of unit cell. Density is equal to mass of unit cell. See how easy the calculation is. Density of unit cell is equal to what? It is mass of unit cell divided by volume of the unit cell. Volume of one unit cell will be what? A cube. Cube है ना, length into breadth into height. इतना easy है. But mass of a unit cell क्या रहेगा? Mass of the cell is represented by Z, the number of atom, into mass of one atom. Z is the total number of atoms in simple cubic 1, body centered 2, and in face center it will be 4, multiplied by mass of one atom. But what is the mass of one atom? Density is given by the symbol rho. What is the mass of one atom? See, we know that atomic mass of any element is equal to what? It is 6.022 into 10 raised to 23 atoms. So this mass represents mass of 6.022 into 10 raised to. So mass of one atom, how much? Mass of one atom will be x. So how much will that be equal to? That will be equal to, इसको नीचे ले लो, इधर ऊपर ले लो, cross multiply. So x is the mass of one atom. Sorry. Atomic mass is equal to this. So 6 points. So one atom, mass of one atom will be equal to what? X. That is 6.022. This mass is of 6.022 into 10 raised to 23 atom. So what is the mass of one atom? Either one आएगा, I am correct. So X will be, this much mass is the mass of 1 mole of atom. So one atom will have how much? So that X value becomes equal to how much if you cross multiply? Atomic mass upon Na. Na is Avogadro's number, 6.022 into 10 raised to 23. Substitute that. So अपना काम easy हो गया. So we get density is equal to Z into atomic mass upon, what do we have? Na. Na is Avogadro's number into A cube. So when I'm doing the numericals, I'll teach you the shortcut also how to calculate this. So this is one more calculation. So if it is density of a simple cubic, 1 into all this value. If it is density of a body centered cubic lattice, 2 into all this. Density of a face centered cubic lattice, 4 into all this. Is this point clear? Have you understood? Okay. तो ये हो गया क्या बोलते हैं density of unit cell. Is this clear? So now what we have is, with this, we have a very important rule called as radius rule. Heading is packing in voids in ionic solid. I was, if you remember, telling you last time that when we take up a cubic structure, so these are atoms at the corner. So in an ionic solid, what happens? All the lattice points, whether it is corner, center of the face, or center of the body, in an ionic solid, there is a positive cation and a negative anion. So I am talking about that, not metal, just positive. That's why we taught you first metal crystal and ionic solid. In a metal crystal, lattice points are occupied by only positively charged ions. In an ionic crystal, you got positively charged ion and negatively charged ion. So now I am discussing where are they placed. Is this point clear? So what happens is, in a what do you call ionic crystal, lattice points, irrespective of whether it is corner, face or center, lattice points are occupied by what? By anions. And the void space का कलर अलग करते हैं. These are the void spaces. So void space is a void space or holes. Void space or holes are occupied by what? They are occupied by cations. So there are two types of holes. Which are the two types of voids we have? We have tetrahedral and octahedral. So if Z is the number of anions, ना इधर number of atoms नहीं होगा, Z is the number of anions. Total कैसा calculate किया हम लोग? 2 for simple cubic, 4 for face centered, and 2 for body centered, 1 for simple cubic. ये सब calculate किया ना? Z is number of anions. I am not saying number of atoms. Then how many tetrahedral holes are there? 2 into Z, and Z number of octahedral hole. What is the importance of this concept? The importance of this concept is use it to calculate the molecular formula. I'll give you an example so it becomes easy. One example I'll take now just for you to understand. See, zinc sulfide crystallizes with zinc ion occupying half the tetrahedral holes. Holes or void, half. This is the most important sentence. Okay. In a closed packed array. So when they say CCP, closed packed array, it means it is face centered cubic lattice. Okay. What is the formula of zinc sulfide? What is closed packed array? We have space na. Closed packed array. Why are they saying closed packed array? Because first sentence last time that I talked about was, if it is one below the other, it is open packing. So simple cubic and body centered both are open packing. Are you understanding? Whereas face centered will be closed packing. Okay. So that's why they said closed pack array. In our language we say it's face centered cubic lattice. So Z, what is Z? Number of anions will be equal to 4. So in a unit cell there will be 4 anions. So number of tetrahedral holes will be 8. Barabar? But half of 8, half into 8 is occupied by zinc. That is 4. So zinc 4 atoms है in a unit cell and sulfur भी 4 atoms है. तो LCM लेगा तो क्या आएगा, ये 1 1 आएगा. So formula will be zinc sulfide. One zinc atom is corresponding to one sulfide. It's not that easy. There's some more tougher sums. I'll explain to you when I'm doing the numerical. This is just to give an example that this concept of tetrahedral and octahedral holes in ionic solid is used to calculate what we call as the formula of the ionic solid. Okay. Last we come to a very, very important concept from the entrance exam point of view. That is radius of cation upon radius of anion. See, we have always been telling that always the cationic size will be less than that of the anionic size. बरोबर है कि नहीं? Cation radii will be less than anionic radii. So if I write R plus, it is radius of a cation. R plus is radius of cation. R minus is radius of anion. एक simple rule है. What is the simple rule? That radius of cation will always be less than radius of anion. So the ratio of radius of cation to radius of anion will be less than 1. It will be a fraction. Is this clear? So this is going to give us here. So we have a limiting factor. Na? What is the limiting factor? 1. So now what happens is, see, we have coordination number. Please by heart this table. Lot of questions are asked in 12th, coordination number in this key. Then limiting value of radius of cation upon radius of anion. Then we have type of hole occupied. Okay, and then an example. Very simple here, try to understand. First we start with coordination number 3. See, you try to understand when either दिखता है हाँ. When does a hole have a coordination number 3? I told you. Coordination number of a triangular hole पूछेगा. See, क्या है? ये hole है. Blue दिखता है क्या? हाँ. It's surrounded by 3. So what kind of a hole it is? तुम ही बोल सकता है. Type of hole occupied is triangular. What is the limiting range for a triangular this thing? It is 0.155 to 0.225. There are no units. Why? It's a ratio ना, इसलिए unit नहीं है. तो when the radius of cation upon radius of anion is in between this range, we know that the cation is occupying the triangular hole, and automatically we'll say coordination number is 3. That means ये cation था ना, ये hole में cation चला गया, and उसको what is coordination number? Number of atoms or ions surrounding a given atom. And what is the example of this? B2O3. Please remember all these points. तो अभी हमने क्या किया? ये कोऑर्डिनेशन नंबर 3 को इधर ऊपर एक और डाला, तो इट बिकेम कोऑर्डिनेशन नंबर 4. कोऑर्डिनेशन नंबर 4 रहेगा तो व्हाट काइंड ऑफ अ होल इट इज अ टेट्राहेड्रल होल. टेट्राहेड्रल होल. चलो, सो व्हाट विल बी द रेंज? 0.225 to 0.414. So with the X-ray spectrum, when we calculate the radius of the cation and radius of anion, it's falling in this range 225 to 414. Automatically तेरा coordination number 4 है. Your cation is present in a tetrahedral hole. Example of this is zinc sulfide. Then what do we have? ये 3 and 3 6 था, octahedral hole था कि नहीं? ये ऐसा 3 और इसका उल्टा 3 था. So this hole was octahedral. So when coordination number was 6, what kind of a hole was it? Octahedral. Okay. So what is the range? 414 to 732. 0.414 to 0.732. Example of this is what? Sodium chloride. Then what happens? Look at this. If you have a simple cubic, ये देख, एक, दो, तीन, चार, पाँच, छः, सात, आठ, तो इसका बीच में ये होल है. सो कोऑर्डिनेशन नंबर 8 मीन्स वो सिंपल क्यूबिक में रहता है, बड़ा वाइड है ना, तो बड़ा कैटाइन जाके बैठेगा उधर, होल ये बड़ा है, तो इट इज ग्रेटर देन 0.732. What is this hole called as? This is called as cubic. I think cesium chloride is the best example. Yes, very characteristic. See, lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium. Sodium chloride is face centered cubic lattice. उसका इसका बीच में है, but cesium becomes bigger ना, तो cesium needs more space. It cannot be face centered cubic lattice. So cesium will become body centered. जरा difference समझो. We have alkali metals: lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium. Sodium chloride is small. Sodium has a smaller cation, so it requires less space. So it fits itself in the octahedral hole. Are you understanding? It fits itself in the octahedral hole. Okay. So all octahedral holes are occupied. So sodium chloride is face centered cubic lattice. तो क्या होता है? Z is equal to 4. तो 4 anions है, तो octahedral hole will be also 4. बराबर, तो 4 and 4 means LCM is 1. So 1 sodium, 1 chloride. That is the formula. But इधर क्या होता है? You have a body centered cubic lattice and center of the body में cesium आता है, because the hole it is occupying will be a cubic hole. So this will be cubic. क्योंकि size बड़ा हो गया ना, you need more space. So void space is also more. So coordination number is 8. So this chart you have to by heart properly. Very, very important from the any normal exam as well as entrance exam. So with this I have finished 90% of the chapter, 80%, 10% ये भी है. Next time I am talking about defects, magnetic effect, lecture chapter khatam, and we'll start with numericals next time. Okay, so that's all for the crystal structure. Very, very important topic है, इसमें बहुत questions पूछता है. So when you are talking of defects in crystal structure, what happens is, see, suppose you have a cubic structure. Okay, I'll give you an example. Now when you are pouring, one more cube will, what do you call, join this. How are you pouring? You are melting and then you are pouring. So what happens during this? If you don't pour this properly, you don't pour it slowly, then what can happen is some slippage of the atoms, ions can take place. So when the slippage takes place, then this is called as defects in crystal lattice. I told you that, building up the crystal. How does the crystal get built up? The crystal gets built up when one unit cell is surrounded by other unit cells and so on, and they are in a perfectly ordered manner. There will be a perfect crystal. So one of the condition is that when you are building the crystal, this should the pouring of the molten metal, the ionic liquid, all has to be very slow. If it is little fast or not in the correct rate, then slippages can occur, and these slippages cause what we call as crystal defects. Is this clear? So what are the basic crystal defects there? Now what does the crystal defect do? The crystal defect basically alters the physical property. The crystal defects basically cause slight change in the physical property. So what are the change in property? We'll see. What are the types of defects? So when we come to types of defects classification, there are basically two types of defect. The first is what we call as point defect, which is very, very important. Maximum discussion is going to take place on point defect. And we have a line defect. So because this is just one sentence, I'll discuss line defect first, and then we'll focus our complete attention in the lecture towards point defect. Is this clear? So what happens in a line defect is, the defect is due to, now define line defect आएगा. I told you, I mean, I'm telling you again and again, only definitions na thoda by heart maro. I am a person who has been against by hearting, but then I feel that define na वो define ही होना चाहिए. It should be a definite way of writing. So try to stick to the textbook, because sometimes the language may change the or may not convey what we want to say. Is this clear? So what is a line defect? The defect is due to irregularity. The defect is due to irregularity in a complete line. In a complete line. First point. What does this mean? This means a row of lattice points is missing. Now they've just in every textbook, whether it is CBSE, NCERT textbook or here, they've just mentioned this. And the question arises, what causes a line defect? So that is an extra knowledge now. A line defect, and this is where the explanation will be understood. A line defect is caused by cutting of a metal. Is caused by cutting of metal with knife or a. It's like, for example, we always say in 10th standard, sodium is a very soft metal. It can be cut with a knife. Potassium, even to some extent magnesium, you can cut it a little bit. So when you cut, what happens is, see, this was your original metal. So in a metal, what did I tell you? Lattice points are occupied by metal ions. Lattice points are occupied by metal ions. Surrounded by what? Surrounded by electrons. Let it take its own time, we'll draw properly to explain. So now when you cut with the knife, it can happen that breaks like this. So can you see now what is happening? When you cut, this whole row through and through went missing, because it went into the other part of the other part basically of the metal. So this is what I'm trying to tell you. So line defect is caused only when you cut a metal. Whereas in case of point defects, these are formed during the crystallization process. So when I come to point defect, okay, basically first we have a vacancy defect. This whole concept, this is one of the most important topics in this chapter. मैं इसलिए important mark कर रहा हूँ with an asterisk mark. So we have a vacancy defect. So what is a vacancy defect? This vacancy defect is called as Schottky defect. Schottky. Schottky, Cannizzaro, these are some names now where I have a big problem with the spelling, okay, in all these years. So always I look and write. So this is called as Schottky defect. What happens is, now, this basically happens in ionic crystals. So understand, ये क्या था? Line defect was mainly found in metal crystals, because when you cut the metal, one complete row has gone into the other part and one row over here is left without that. But here what happens is, like when you look at, I told you, if this is the anion, this will be the cation, this will be anion, because I am drawing like this because generally the anion has a greater size as compared to the cation. Cationic size is smaller, anionic size is always larger. A general rule है ये. बट कभी क्या होगा मैं बताता हूं. So in the crystal now what happens? Equal number of cation. अभी एक कैटायन गया, इधर फिर एनायन है वापस, फिर कैटायन है. अभी एक कैटायन कम होगा तो what will be the problem? The crystal will have some charge ना. The crystal per se is electrically neutral. The crystal is electrically neutral. Why is it electrically neutral? Because as many positively charged ions are there, that many negatively charged ions are also there. Is this point clear? तो अगर इधर एक पॉजिटिव चार्ज गया तो यू विल फाइंड दैट, सपोज इसको अगर पॉजिटिव बोला, ये एनाइन है, ये पॉजिटिव, ये एनाइन, ये पॉजिटिव, ये एनाइन शायद मिसिंग है, सो यू विल हैव पॉजिटिव देन नेगेटिव देन पॉजिटिव then negative then positive. So what happens in case of what you call a vacancy defect? I have a color pen. So you can see equal number of what you call cation and anion are missing. So when equal number of cation and anion are missing, the electrical neutrality is maintained. First point is, so how does it affect the physical property? This is called a Schottky's defect. So vacancies of both equal number of cations and anion. Now what is going to happen? First and foremost, okay, see what is density? Density is equal to mass upon volume. Your volume remains the same, na? Volume remains the same. If volume remains the same, mass is going to reduce. Why is the mass going to reduce? Because quite a few of equal number of cations and anions are escaping. So numerator, so density decreases. So that's the first thing. Density decreases. Density decreases. See, we have always said that ionic crystals do not conduct electricity in the solid state. Why? Because conduction of current, when we say, happens only when there is movement of electrons. There is movement of electrons in a metal, or because of movement of ion in a solution or in a fused mixture, A. So if you melt the metal, if you melt the ionic solid, movement of ions is established. But this can cause, so if there is a defect, feeble conduction of electricity can take place. Feeble conduction of electricity. Why is this important? Because ionic crystals generally do not conduct electricity. Ionic crystals do not generally conduct electricity. But with the Schottky's defect, there is a possibility of feeble conduction of current. Is this clear? Then, what kind of ionic crystal will show Schottky defect? So the condition, third point is, when the cation and anionic size, the cationic size is nearly equal to the anionic size. For example, if I take lithium iodide, the cation is small, iodide anion is large. But if I take cesium chloride, they are saying sodium chloride, potassium chloride, cesium chloride. Sodium chloride, potassium chloride, cesium chloride, and I am writing over here AgBr. There is a special reason. Why? Because AgBr is one silver bromide which can boast both Schottky as well as Frenkel defect. The next one what I am talking. It is clear. So generally when sodium and chlorine, they belong to the third row. So nearly the cationic size and anionic size is same. So they will show what we call Schottky defect. Then we have what we call as the Frenkel defect, which is basically a vacancy defect. So the heading will be interstitial defect. Now what happens in case of this is called as Frenkel defect, Frenkel, Frenkel defect. So when you're talking of Frenkel defect, what happens? If the cationic size, I'm just putting the anions as bigger. I told you, anions are always, anionic size is larger than cationic size. Okay. And then I have cation, 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 cation. So sometimes what can happen is the cation can slip. So here there should have been a cation. But what happens, the cation, instead of being in parallel with this anion, it slips here. It slips into the void space. So what happens in an interstitial defect is the smaller cation slips into the void space. It leaves its regular geometrical arrangement. So if you say it will slip into the void space, in interstitial space. So remember, there is no loss of cation or anion. Mass remains the same. So density does not change. Density does not change. Again, there will be feeble conduction of electric current, and then example of this will be AgCl and AgBr. So here you can see that AgBr is one such ionic solid which can show both interstitial defect and Frenkel defect. This is a question which they ask. This is a question which they ask, which is the solid which shows both Schottky and Frenkel defect. We have this one. This is clear. Then we come to what? Impurity defect. So I am rubbing off this because this is only one sentence. Then we are coming to the next type, that is impurity defect. So what happens in impurity defect is you have substitutional impurity defect and interstitial. So they are of two types. इसका short note कभी भी पूछता है, they ask a short note. So, and this we will be discussing in great detail in a chapter called D block elements also. तो उधर बहुत ज़्यादा, I mean effect types, examples ये वो सब दिखने वाला है. So we have impurity interstitial defect. Interstitial impurity defect. And we have substitutional impurity defect. Okay, what happens in this case is, suppose if we take iron, these are atoms of iron metal. So when you do that, what happens? Very small atoms, listen carefully, like for example boron. When you add an impurity like boron, carbon steel होता है ना? So when you add a small impurity like boron or carbon, what happens? They go and place themselves in the interstices. So obviously what happens? The packing increases, na? So the malleability and ductility will increase. See, more the void space, the metal will be less malleable and ductile. But as these spaces go on filling up, what happens? There's going to be a change in property. It will become more malleable and ductile. This is clear. That's why boron steel, carbon steel, these are, the carbon steel is so tough that we use it for making hammer or wrench and all that. Now we use, it is clear. We use titanium steel, we use zirconium steel. It is clear. So these kind of steels are used because When they get packed, their property changes, their malleability, ductility, toughness changes. So interstitial defect. Now you know pure gold. Let us take the example of pure gold. 24 carats. You give it to the what is this? Ek minute, huh? Yeah. So when you give pure gold to the jeweler, he'll say, I will make it into 22 carat jewelry. What is the difference between 24 carat and 22 carat? 24 carat is 100% gold, whereas 22 carat is small amount of copper or silver is added. A small amount of copper or silver is added. That means they are alloying it. They are alloying it. They are making an alloy. So what kind of an alloy it will be? It will be a substitutional impurity. Why? Because nearly gold and copper, actually copper, silver, gold, they come in the same row. Okay. So they come in the same group actually. So what happens in that case is, if suppose this is the crystal structure of gold, so what happens when the cation of the two metals which are alloyed is near, cationic size is nearly the same, instead of occupying the void, this simply, so this is gold, okay, this is gold AU, and what happens, what is this two red ones? These two red ones are copper or silver. Copper or silver. This is clear. So they simply substitute the existing metal atom. So then they are called as substitutional impurity defect. Now understand, when I talked about colloids, they were what? Alloy was one example. So this year I am going to teach you solution, where they were going to say alloys are an example. So when is an alloy a solution? When a alloy has substitutional impurity defect, it will be uniform, homogeneous, it's a solution. Whereas when it is impurity, interstitial impurity defect is in two distinct phases, then this will be the example in colloid. So there I don't want you to question, sir, आपने last year ने यही year surface chemistry में आपने you told that alloy is a colloid, and then same year in another chapter you are saying alloy is a solution, homogeneous solution. So that is depending on the type of impurity. If it is an interstitial impurity defect, then this alloy will be a colloid, because two distinct phases. You can take an X-ray spectrum and clearly see this in the it means this is the continuous phase and this is the discontinuous phase. Whereas here you can see homogeneity when you see the X-ray spectra. So that will become a true solution. So this is an additional information for AI. I think I told you in college, I'll teach you in solid state. So this is where it is. Now we come to what? So this was about defects in crystal structure. Now what do we come to next? When you're talking of defects in crystal structure, ye ho gaya. Next what we are talking about is, listen carefully, we are talking about conduction of electricity. So what happens is, when you're talking of why do, so we have been, I have told you this, why do metals conduct electricity? Because they have mobile electron. But where did the mobile electron come from? From the metal itself. But why should it move? See, if I am moving like this, I have a clear path, na? I have a clear path. But if there are going to be atoms which are there, they are going to resist it, na? They are going to cause resistance. It is clear. So to explain that, we have a band theory. So the heading is electrical conductance. Let's take the example of magnesium. We have, so this is generally a short note, right? इसमें कुछ ज़्यादा ये नहीं है. Generally this can be asked as a short note. And पूछा भी है board में. I have also in easiest corrected paper and realized this is asked as a short note. Explain electrical conductivity in metals. Take the example of magnesium. All textbooks have given the same example. So 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p, 14, 12, so 10 to 3p, 3p0. So what happens is, see, we are talking about molecular orbital theory. So there are molecular orbitals. Which are the molecular orbitals? 1s, sigma 1s molecular orbital, sigma 1s. Then this will be sigma 2s molecular orbital. Then we have 2p sigma and pi, both orbitals. And then we will have, so I am putting all this 2s and 2p here only. 2s sigma, 2p and all that over here. Then we are coming to the outermost shell. I have a 3s orbital. So this is called as valence orbital. This is called as valence molecular orbital, where there are electrons. But what happens, you also have 3s ke baad a 3p orbital, na? Very, very close by. Now here what happens, you should understand. The electrons are not just moving like this. It will not be able to move. Why? Because if you have electron, if this is the orbital, if this is the metal atom, and the electron is going to move just like this, the metal atom or the metal cation is going to offer resistance to the electron. That is in fact the concept of resistance. That resistance and conductance are inversely proportional. More is the resistance, less is the conductance. Okay. Why does it still move? What is happening is, from the valence electron, from the valence orbital, electron is jumping. This electron is jumping into the conduction band. So molecular orbitals in the 3p, this is called as conduction band. So in this conduction band, now when it's jumping from here to here, it has a free path. Now nobody is going to obstruct it. No other electron is going to obstruct it. So since the distance between the valence band and the conduction band is less, what happens? The electron jumps. It's at an atomic level we are trying to explain the conductance. Up to now, in 9th, 10th, 11th also, what we were saying, metals have mobile electrons. These mobile electrons are what you call moving, and so there is conduction of electricity. I am just adding two more sentences to that. The electrons were present in the valence band of the metal atom, and what happened? They jumped from the valence band to the conduction band. How was the conduction band created? The conduction band was created because of the molecular orbital of this 3p vacant. 3s is valence band, 3p is conduction band. They are very, very close. If they are very, very close, what is going to happen? Jumping becomes easy, and these mobile electrons now cause conduction of electricity. So these are good conductors. Now when we come to semiconductors, what happens? What is the example of semiconductor? Silicon. Atomic number 14. So I am now talking about, let's write here only. Idhar hi likhte hain. So I need that space for something else. We have semiconductor. So what is an example of semiconductor? Silicon, germanium. Silicon atomic number 14. It will have a configuration of 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p2 and 3d. So what is happening is, look, you have, मैं नीचे का छोड़ता हूँ, 1s, 2s, 3s. You have 3s and then you have 3p. Your 3d is little slightly higher level. So there is a slight, what you call, difference. So this is your valence band and this is your conductance band. There is some distance, na? So not many electrons are able to traverse. So very few electrons go in from the valence band to the conduction band. But what happens? Suppose if you put an impurity like arsenic. What happens to arsenic? You have a silicon crystal. Okay. So arsenic is member of the group 15. So arsenic occupies this. When arsenic occupies, it has given its 4 electrons, it has 1 more electron. So what is it going to do? It's going to allow the electron to flow. So arsenic, when arsenic is added from the molecular level, what happens? The arsenic का conduction band और valence band ऐसा रहेगा. So this is the valence band of arsenic. What has that done? That has bridged the gap. So अभी electron of arsenic it can also jump. इलेक्ट्रॉन से मतलब है ना, सिलिकॉन का इलेक्ट्रॉन है कि आर्सेनिक का इलेक्ट्रॉन, उससे मतलब नहीं है. What has happened? Electron of arsenic has also jumped from the valence band into the conduction band, so that increases conductivity. Is clear? So this type of conductor is called as p-type conductor. These are called as p-type conductor. On the other hand, what happens? If suppose I add boron. Now boron is able to only form what? 3 bonds. बोरॉन इज एबल टू ओनली फॉर्म 3 बॉन्ड्स. अभी ये जो सिलिकॉन रहेगा उसका इलेक्ट्रॉन फ्री हो गया, बिकॉज बोरॉन डज नॉट हैव द ऑर्बिटल टू फॉर्म अ बॉन्ड ना. देयर हैज टू बी कोवैलेंट बॉन्ड इज फॉर्म बाय ओवरलैप ऑफ एटॉमिक ऑर्बिटल, तो वो इलेक्ट्रॉन फ्री हो जाता है. सो इन केस ऑफ दैट व्हाट हैपेंस, दैट फ्री इलेक्ट्रॉन नाउ इज एबल टू जंप एंड इंक्रीज द कंडक्टिविटी. ये बोरॉन समझो, बराबर. बोरॉन का वजह से सिलिकॉन का इलेक्ट्रॉन ये हो गया. सो सिलिकॉन का वैलेंस बॉन्ड से बोरॉन में आएगा, बोरॉन से इधर आ जाएगा, फ्रॉम वैलेंस बैंड टू. सो यू हैव इंक्रीज द वैलेंस बैंड ना, इतना वैलेंस बैंड, डिस्टेंस कम किया. इलेक्ट्रॉन किधर से आएगा? इलेक्ट्रॉन इससे ही आएगा, किससे? सिलिकॉन से आएगा. बट वो डायरेक्टली इधर जंप नहीं मारेगा. इलेक्ट्रॉन फ्रॉम हियर विल गो टू बोरॉन का ऑर्बिट, फ्रॉम बोरॉन इट विल गो अप. आर यू अंडरस्टैंडिंग? The distance is reduced, conductivity increased. So this type of conductor will now be called as N-type conductor. I am not discussing this in great detail because you are going to have in your physics, modern physics, electronics part mein, a huge topic on N-type conductor and P-type conductor. Is this point clear? So that's going to be like a big, huge what you call discussion there. And how do you join a NPN conductor, PNP type of semiconductors, and how we make a diode, वो सब पूरा एक इसका advanced version तुम लोग सीखने वाला है. This is clear? So this was about electrical conductivity. Now we are coming to what? The magnetic property. We are coming to magnetic property. Again, all short notes only are asked. But इसमें है ना थोड़ा diagram भी है, तो they will ask you which is ferromagnetic, ferrimagnetic, anti-ferrimagnetic, and so on and so forth. So now we are coming to हाँ दिखता है magnetic property. Now we are coming to magnetic property. So when look at when there are basically first simple ones are paramagnetism. So what happens in paramagnetism is that there are unpaired electrons. Best example of a paramagnetic compound, if you remember, was oxygen. Because the whole valence bond theory had to be shifted to explain why oxygen is paramagnetic. We had the molecular orbital theory where we said that oxygen has 2 electrons in the pi star 2p x and pi star 2p y molecular orbital. वो याद रखना, pi star 2p x and pi star 2p y, because it's a multiple choice question. So oxygen was paramagnetic because it had. So when an atom or molecule has unpaired electrons, has unpaired electrons, when an atom or a molecule has unpaired electrons, they are affected by external magnetic field. They are affected by external magnetic field. So they are called as paramagnetic behavior. What is diamagnetic? When they don't have unpaired electron. It is clear. All these inert gases, they are diamagnetic. So when an atom or molecule manganese oxide, they are diamagnetic. So when an atom or molecule does not have unpaired electron, it is not affected by external magnetic field. External magnetic, then it's called as diamagnetic behavior. Then we have ferromagnetic. See, in ferromagnetic, what happens is, now here I have to teach you why a magnetic moment is created. See, what happens is, listen carefully. When you look at an electron has a planetary motion. Electron has a planetary motion. Electron has a planetary. What do you mean by a planetary motion? See, just like Earth. Earth revolves around the sun. Earth, this is sun. Earth revolves around that. But in a day, Earth revolves around its axis in one day. Once in 24 hours, it's revolving around itself. So actually the magnetic moment, so according to Maxwell's theory of magnetism is, when a charged particle is moving around, whatever, it creates a magnetic moment. So the electron moving around the nucleus, the magnetic moment is not very high. But an electron moving around its axis, clockwise or anti-clockwise, creates a magnetic moment. So if all the electrons are paired, then what happened? This was south pole, that other was north pole, they, cancelled. But when it's an unpaired electron, an extra magnetic moment is created. And this is measured in a unit called as Bohr magneton. Bohr magneton, BM. Okay, short for BM, Bohr magneton. Now what happens in case of iron? In case of iron, all the electrons, so अभी अपन अगर iron ऐसा देखेगा, okay, Fe है, ये सब Fe atoms है, there are electrons. Now each and every electron gets aligned. So if I put it like this, see, this is clockwise, this is anti-clockwise. So all the electrons get aligned in the same fashion in presence of a external magnetic field. All the electrons in the iron crystal. Fine, we are very happy. But when you remove the external magnetic field, in case of paramagnetism, what happens? Original moments are restored. In this case, original moment is not restored. They remain like this, and then what happens? There is a net magnetic moment. That means the metal has got magnetized. It itself has become a magnet. So then that is called as ferromagnetism. Okay. Then we have, I need space. Then we have anti-ferromagnetism. Okay. Next is, we have ferromagnetism हो गया, anti-ferromagnetism, because ferro ferry both है इधर इसमें. ferromagnetism. So what happens in antiferromagnetism is, these diagrams are important. After you withdraw the external magnetic field, one electron is lined like this. So equal number of electrons are north pole and south pole. They are not paired. They are metals. They have electrons, mobile. Electrons are spinning around its axis. Equal number are spinning clockwise. Equal number are spinning anti-clockwise. So this is not in an orbital. ऐसा नहीं. Is this clear? Throughout the metal atom there are electrons. बराबर? मैं भी एक इलेक्ट्रॉन है, इधर भी एक इलेक्ट्रॉन, इधर भी लगा. मैं ऐसा घूम रहा हूँ, दूसरा ऐसा घूम रहा है. Equal number are moving clockwise and equal number are moving anti-clockwise. So the magnetic movement gets cancelled in the metal. So it is not affected by external magnetism. This is called as antiferromagnetism. दूसरा क्या है मन में क्या? Ferrimagnetism. Example of ferrimagnetism क्या है? Magnetite, that is ferrites, Fe3O4. Example is Fe3O4. इसका पूछते हैं वो लोग एग्जाम्पल. इसका एग्जाम्पल क्या है? एंटी फेरोमैग्नेटिक मैंगनीज ऑक्साइड. मैंगनीज ऑक्साइड, ये एग्जाम्पल याद रखना. See, in this case what happens? After you remove the external magnetic field, unequal numbers are there. So ऐसा नहीं इक्वल है, unequal number. So उसका डेफिनेशन क्या है? When magnetic movement are aligned in parallel in unequal numbers. So magnetic movement definition is, magnetic moment is aligned unequally. So when they are aligned unequally, slight magnetism will be there. Slight magnetism will be there. It is clear. This is not because they are unpaired. Metal में क्या है? There are mobile electron. One is moving clockwise, the other is moving anti-clockwise. So greater number are moving anti-clockwise or greater number are moving clockwise, and that resultant causes slight magnetism. That is called as ferrimagnetism, magnetite and all that. Is this clear? So these substance finally they will show magnetic property, and you can barabar. So they will be weakly attracted to magnetic field. They will not become magnet themselves. They will be weakly attracted to magnetic field, show paramagnetism. But when you heat it, maybe they lose their paramagnetism. Is this clear? So this was what we had about magnetism. Is it clear?